Kia ora. Welcome again to the Rebecca and Knits YouTube channel. I'm Bex, I'm a knitter from the Hutt Valley in Wellington, New Zealand, and this is my little corner of YouTube where I love to share about my knitting and crafting and today some crochet, sometimes spinning creations. Thank you for joining me. Welcome back to anyone who's been here before, and kia ora to the few new subscribers that I have had join us. If you enjoy this content, please feel free to like and subscribe or to leave me a comment below. It's really great. I'd really love to get a bit more interaction with you all through these videos. So feel free to leave some comments, chat about anything that you see me talk about today. I'm just going to follow the normal, standard structure of these kind of videos. So please join me to talk about what I finished, what I'm working on, and any plans that I have and acquisitions. I think we're only going to mostly talk about whips today because that's all that's going on in my world is a lot of whips. But yeah, settle in. I've got my giant cup of smoothie today because I was at the gym this morning trying to get my protein intake up. Post that. What to say? What's been going on? Not a lot, just a lot of working, knitting and crafting in between as much as possible. So quickly to talk about what I'm wearing. This is one of my Lento sweaters that I made in 2023. I had the year of the Lento. I made a Lento every month in the year of 2023. So if you would like to see massive selection of different Lento sweaters, I do have a dedicated video all about all of that. So have a look back if you're interested. But this particular one I made in Hedgehog Fibers Skinny Singles in their colorway Monet, and I held that single throughout with a strand of like cream colored mohair from Skeins. And for the cuffs and the neckline I used Malabarigo. It was a single ply silk and merino blend that was a DK weight, so I used that for the neckline and the cuffs and the hem as well. So it's quite a cropped little Lento. There is some differences in the skeins of the Hedgehog Fibers Monet, which if you look closely you can see. I didn't alternate skeins, never even occurred to me to do that when I was making this, but because the mohair is there, it kind of diffuses it, so it's pretty subtle. You only really see it if you look for it. So yeah, I wear it not that frequently because it's very cropped. So you got to pick the right outfit to wear it with, but I felt like being just a little bit bright and colourful today because it's a beautiful sunny day, even though we're still kind of in winter. We're starting to see some really beautiful sunny days. Anyway, that's what I'm wearing. Obviously, everything is on my Ravelry page as well if you would like to have a little bit more of a look of photos or perusing the details. Finished objects, only one this video. I finished these socks, which I'm pretty sure I started showing you last time. These are just some scrappy mini skein socks that I pulled out of my stash. I found all these colours and wanted to use them together, so I finished these. Done a DK weight sock, so I've held a mohair with the colours throughout. Yes, there is two. I did not manage my yarn as well as I could have, so this one ended up with a much larger pink stripe at the toe because the speckled yarn did run out sooner than I had hoped. I kind of just guesstimated halfway and it didn't quite work out. I would have been much happier if I had put a thicker pink stripe on both socks rather than a block on one, but hey, they're just scrappy socks, so I didn't care enough to rip back both toes and re-knit a third of the sock, both socks again. So these are how they are. They're looking a little bit worse for wear already because I've been wearing them around the house because it's been frosty and cold, and these are lovely snuggly DK weight socks. They're my only finished object per se. I also did finish working on my friend Sarah's sweater, which if you've watched recent episodes you might remember that I was trying to lengthen a sweater I'd made several years ago for my friend Sarah, and it kind of felted a bit and shrunk with wash and wear over the last few years, and she was unable to wear it now because it hit the most unflattering spot on her body. And so, well, I thought it looked fine, but she did not. So that's fine. I have finished lengthening it. Now, how am I going to hold this up? go. So you can see that it does have a significantly longer body now. I wear everything cropped because I wear high-waisted jeans, but my friend Sarah is a low-rise jean girl, and so she needed a bit more length on her sweater. You can, if I bring it in, see there where the old fabric ends and the new fabric starts. It's not ridiculously obvious in real life, but you can tell that the previous fabric is a bit more washed and worn and the new bit is not. But yeah, it's come together good. I was hoping I might be able to lengthen the sleeves as well, but honestly, the sleeve cuffs, the stitches are just so matted. Even in the stockinette, they're so blended together because this was a non-superwash high micron merino, so really fine, high quality merino, but very soft, and so it has really gripped together and over time of wear. So I've decided not to try and do that because the body was really hard, and I would actually like to get it back to my friend before the winter's over. It is a fingering weight, so it took a lot of effort just to even add that 10-12 centimeters on. It took me ages. But anyway, this is on my Ravelry page if you scroll way back. It's called Moon of My Life, I think, something like that. It was a free pattern from Ravelry. It's really beautiful with this just little cute colourwork yoke. This is one of the first colourwork things that I've ever made. And it turned out pretty good considering. Anyway, so yay, I can finally get that back to Sarah so she can maybe get a few more wears out of it before the weather turns totally cold. Sorry, I'm not looking at the right part of the camera. I'm trying hard, but failing miserably. So those are all the things that I have finished, but I have been working on a lot of things. So, do I have anything? I do have one new whip since the last time I recorded, but mostly I've just been working on what I already had on the needles. Slow down, take a breath. I feel like I'm rushing. I feel like I have a lot of whips, and that I really want to work through some of the whips that I have on my needles. I'm going away in a couple of weeks to spend for a family holiday in Fiji for a week, and I had all these great ideas about what I could cast on as my holiday knitting. But then I started listing in my head all the things that I've already got on the go, and some of these whips are hibernating and not being worked on at all, and some of them I'm actively working on, but they're still quite big projects, and I'm like, oh gosh, I don't think I want to cast on anything new. I think I want to just systematically work through what I've got on the needles. I feel like it's going to take me the rest of the year to get through just the projects that are already on the needles. So I'm going to work hard at that, I think. So you will be seeing some repetitive stuff coming up, I'm afraid. I'm sure I'll always be throwing in new pairs of socks, but I would love to get through a few of these outstanding whips as well. And obviously if I cast off a sweater, I'm not going to have no sweater on the needles. So there will be replacements, but I'm going to try and finish some things and then cast on a new one rather than add anything more to the stockpile that I already have. So let's get started talking about the whips. Let's start with the big one. This is my pressed flowers cardigan, which I have been knitting along with the Kiwi Make Along, and we're nearly finished. August is the end, but so I don't think I'm going to get it done within the Make Along time frame. But that's okay. I'm not too concerned. I'm just really enjoying working on this. So this is my pressed flowers cardigan by Amy Christophers, or Savoury Knitting. The light's not super great for you to be able to see that, but there you go. You've got this. It's an all over mosaic knit cardigan. So I have this beautiful long row that I am working. I put it on a barber cord just so that I could try and show it to you in its entirety. There we go. I finished 2 full pattern repeats now, which means I have finished the first colour, and I am fading now into the second colour of my fade. So you can see just at the top there, there's sort of 4 rows of the new colour working in there, which is just a tiny bit lighter. So this is the one that I have been using, and this is the one that is next. So they're not significantly different, but they definitely do fade. This one's definitely a lighter version of this. And then there's the third colour, which is much creamier. So having a look at the pictures and reading through the pattern, there's about 12 flowers in the full length of the sweater. So I've done 4 in this colour. I'll do the next 4 in the middle colour and the top 4 in the lightest colour. Yeah, so it's coming together really beautifully. I'm really enjoying it. It's becoming quite rhythmic. I'm kind of understand the pattern repeat now, so I sort of know what to expect with each row. So I'm still referring to the chart and crossing it off because it just helps me keep on track. And I don't quite trust myself with how busy and full my brain is at the moment to remember exactly where I'm up to without referring to the chart. So I am doing that. Absolutely love it. It's so stunning. It's subtle, but it's exactly how I hoped it would be. That the flowers are there, but it's tonal. It's not like glaringly like contrasting, but it's so pretty. So I'm really loving this. I'm really loving the yarn. These beautiful hand-dyed yarns are from Marmalade Yarn Co., who's a local New Zealand hand dyer. She does mostly in-stock stuff, very small but beautiful yarn. This is the first ever set of hand-dyed yarn that I ever bought myself. And so it's been in my stash for several years and I'm so stoked to be finally using it. I feel like a third of the 2 sleeves is not going to come anywhere near close to finishing this, so I will have to think of something to do with all the remaining yarn. And my main colour is this one here, which is a dip dyed yarn by Skeins. So it's a limited edition, not hand dyed, but like batch dyed, rather than completely commercially dyed. And I'm holding it with Skeins mohair as well. For those, because this is a much lighter fingering weight, and this is a technically fingering weight, but a heavier one. This is about 360 meters for 100 grams. And this one's 400 meters for 100 grams. And this pattern calls for a sport weight, which is usually more around 300 meters. So holding this one with the mohair just bulks it up a little bit. And I'm finding it really great. I actually haven't checked my gauge at all, but I'm really happy with the fabric that it is creating. And holding this around myself, like making it kind of cardigan shaped and sized, it's definitely going to fit. I'm not too concerned about that. It's still got a button band to go. I think I'm making size 3. I'll hold it upside down, but if you add a button band, I'm pretty convinced that there's definitely enough width in this, and it's supposed to be slightly oversized. So happy. I'm happy. I'm loving it. Haven't put a lot of time into this because I've got very distracted on my crocheting. But I've picked up again yesterday because I had the day off and spent quite a bit of time working on it, and I'm absolutely loving it. Just got to have some time because each row kind of takes at least 20 minutes because they're so long and it's mosaic knitting. It's not the quickest and it's knitting flat. But there's very little purling because you're knitting mosaic knitting. So it's not a very quick project. And I knew that going into it, and I think that's why I've procrastinated this project for a long time, but I'm really stoked to finally be working on it consistently, so I'm going to keep on trying. I'm not setting any kind of, like, I love the idea of saying, let's try and get it finished by the end of August. But there's only 3 weeks of August left, and I'm overseas for one of those whole weeks, and this is not the project that'll be coming with me because it's way too bulky and way too fluffy and warm to be working on in a Fijian climate. So no, that's not my project of choice to take. So it won't be. It'll be staying home. So there's very little hope that I would get it done in 2 weeks. Absolutely no hope actually, because I just got too much on and not enough knitting time and too many projects that I want to work on to just solely work on that one. So it'll just get done when it gets done, and I'm totally fine with that. Speaking of crochet and all the other projects that I'm being distracted about, I talked to you last week about my Battenburg blanket. Last week, it wasn't last week. Who am I kidding? Last episode about the Battenburg blanket that I started, didn't I? With my hedgehog fibers. I talked to you about that, right? Anyway, I'm making a Battenburg blanket with my hedgehog fibers mini skein advent that I bought from Wool Fest this year, Alana from Lupine was doing a bit of a personal de-stash as part of her shop stall at Wool Fest, and I brought the Hedgehog Fibres advent from a few years ago from her. So it had all been opened, but perfectly all put back in place and all complete. And so I'm making a Battenburg blanket with that. So I'm crocheting, which is a crochet pattern. I was craving a bit of crochet, a bit of a chain, something a bit quick, something quite small that you can then just pick up and put down. Really great for working on in my sparkle or taking in my bag to work for just when you get a 20-minute break. The Battenburg blanket is made with heaps and heaps and heaps of tiny mini granny squares, solid granny squares, and you alternate colourful ones with white ones in the original design. So that's what I'm doing, because these hedgehog fibre colours are so insanely fun, but they are just not quite right for a garment. It would be like having 15 or 24 different versions like this. They're just so intense and so fun. So anyway, the white ones I'm doing, this is not actually I'm using a giant cone of yarn that I got from the Wool Yarns factory sale at the end of last year. I'm holding double throughout. I'm using a 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. So this is the size of my white ones. Now this white yarn is slightly heavier than the hedgehog fibres, so I'm doing these with double crochet, but with the white ones I'm just doing half double crochet for the last row, just to get them to match in size with the colourful ones. So that's what I'm doing for those. So I've got 24 mini skeins. Each mini skein is making 4 squares. So that's 96 colourful squares, so I'm going for 96 white ones as well. And then I'll see. And then I may do a white border, some kind of I-cord border or something. We'll see how it goes. I have this project in my very fun and colourful project bag. This is by Rainbows and Sprinkles. No, it's not. Well, I bought it in a Mother's Day like mystery box from Rainbows and Sprinkles, who are an Australian yarn dyer, but this is actually made by Crystal Cat Stitchery. And it's just so fun and vibrant that I thought it went really well with the Hedgehog Fibres yarn. So I'll show you the yarn, and I'll show you how many mini skeins, how many mini skeins I have crocheted. And sorry, I keep turning away, and I've got a directional mic, so I'm sorry if you can't hear when I turn. I'm going to try and only talk when I'm facing the camera. I'll grab the mini skeins. Here's the advent here, and you can see I spent a bit of time and I wound up half of them. So I wound up 12 of the mini skeins into little cakes, because I'm holding it double. A cake is the best way for me to do that. And I'm slowly working my way through. I have 4 in this first half left to do. So you can see I've got these ones here, I've got the white ones made up as well. And I've just done the colourful ones so far, because of course the colourful ones are more fun. But yeah, I'll give you a little closer. Some of these, I also haven't done the ends yet. This beautiful colour. Obviously all need blocking as well, because they kind of scrunch up. I mean, aren't these so fun? I mean, isn't this going to be the most wildly exciting blanket you've ever seen? You can see why I didn't want to make a garment because it's just so much. It's so much, but it's so fun. So that's all the ones that I've made so far. So 4 of each of those, each of these little squares is taking me about 10 minutes. So it's kind of like an hour and a half to complete the white and the coloured for each colour, for each one. So I've kind of got a like gentle and ambition to do one each day, and that might look like just doing the colourful ones in a day, or trying potentially, if I've got enough knitting time that day, trying to get 4 white and 4 colourful ones done in a day. I only really thought about doing that yesterday, so I haven't actually been doing that. I've just been doing them haphazard as I feel like it. Like I said, they're really good to do when I'm in the spa pool, because they're small. I just have my little mini skein floating in an ice cream container, and then I can crochet away. I really love that. It's very fun. So I've got 4 more colours, and then I'll show you this again. It's just a riot of colour. 4 more to go on this first half, and all the white ones that match. And then I am going to complete all those first 12 colours with the white ones to match, and sew in all the ends before I progress to the next side. So you can see I had absolute beauties to do the second side, but I am going to try and complete this side first, just so that I don't leave all of the pouring ones or all of the ends till the end, because it is essentially nearly 200 granny squares, so that's quite a lot of ends to weave in by the end. Yeah, if I leave it all till the end, and I've still got to join them all at the end, so I don't want to be doing that. So that's what but I actually don't mind weaving in the ends. I actually find that quite relaxing while just watching something in the evening. So that will be a work in progress. Obviously have no deadline for this blanket. I was just so excited to cast it on, to get started with it. I've been thinking about it ever since I bought the mini skeins, and feeling like it wasn't appropriate to cast it on, but I had some really hard shifts at work. I did a lot of hours recently, and I just needed a pick-me-up joyful project. So I thought, what the hey, it's not like I have to start it and finish it. I can just cast it on and enjoy it. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm also still working on my other blanket project that I started in the last episode, and that's the Hoolie Blanket for the Crayabea, which is the test knit. Excuse me. This one does have a deadline, because this one needs to be done by Christmas, basically, by December 25th. I think last time I recorded, I was working on this beautiful golden coloured one I've made 4 strips. This is a blanket that can be made in strips like this, or they can be joined as you go, and be a bit more modular. And it's got, the pattern's going to come with different widths for the ripple stripe strips, and different measurements for different size blankets. I've cast on the width of the strip for the baby blanket, but I'm, instead of doing DK weight on a 4.5mm needle, I am doing more like an Aran weight. I'm holding a fingering with a DK, fingering mini skein with a DK fluffy brushed mohair, and on a 5.5mm needle. Is it 5.5? 5.5, yeah. So I've since started and finished the teal one. So each of these is made with the pretty much entirety of a mini skein. There's just a tiny bit left over at the end. And I just made them the length that I can get from one mini skein. And so that's going to be the width of my blanket this way. It's going to be much bigger than a baby blanket size. It's more like going to be a lap blanket size, which is what I'm hoping for, something I can throw back on the couch. And so, yeah, there is exactly 20 weeks until Christmas, and I've done 4 of these, and there are 24 mini skeins in my set. So my goal is to stay on target with 1 a week. It's only 80 meters of knitting, slightly less than. It should only take about 2 hours per strip. And it's quite fun to work on, because you change direction every 20 rows. I mean, they're such short rows that you can just, I just know I've got 12 repeats, and you just pretty much knit until the mini skein runs out. And I just use one little stitch marker to signify the front, because the increasing and decreasing to make the wave is done on the front, just every second row, and I just move that up every time I've done 20 rows and I change direction. I'll move that up to the next spot, so I've got an easy point of reference to count from. So that's going really well, and I'm about halfway through the next one, which is this purple colour, angled up in itself. Right, purpley, deep purpley colour, so that's the one I'm working on now. And for this, I'm using another mini skein set. This is my Midwinter Minis, which is Midwinter Advent-esque, Midwinter Christmas Advent-esque type situation that Mama Willing's done for the last few years. And so, yeah, it's Mama Willing, hand-dyed in New Zealand, and 24 mini skeins. That's the colours. And then for the white fluffy stuff that I'm holding it with, this is an Ashford's yarn, which is New Zealand made, and it's merino and nylon. The binder, the core is a nylon, but then it's brushed merino, and this is like a DK weight. But it's so light, you get really great meterage from each skein. So I think you get 350 meters on 100 grams, and it's like knits it like a DK weight. That's fantastic, because normally you would only get 200-ish meters for 100 grams of DK, so it's really light and airy. I did block these strips. I've already finished yesterday. Oh my gosh, they're just so lovely. It's going to make the most beautiful light but warm blanket. I'm really excited about it. I was feeling a bit, why did I sign up for this? Like, I like it, but I'm not really enjoying working on it. But once I blocked these, oh, they're just lovely. It's going to be the best blanket. It's going to be so nice. And I will get really good at not blanket stitch. What's it called? Mattress stitch, because I'm going to be doing a lot of sewing together. So I've got 4 done, 1 halfway done. What else? I've got 3 other colours already. These ones I haven't sat down and wound them all up. I'm just doing a few at a time. So I've got a pink and a chartreuse and a more speckled, naturally one to do over the next little while. So 2 hours a week knitting on one of these, an hour and a half a week on my little crochet squares. That's kind of what I'm aiming for in terms of please make progress. Then whatever else time I can get working on my pressed flowers. You see why I'm not making progress, like I'm not finishing anything, because I have these big projects on the go that need a lot of time invested into them. They have a lot of yarn in them. And of course, I finished these socks, and it's a new month. It's August, so I must have my August socks on. That's my only other project to share with you. And then for this month, I'll put in a photo of what the sock set looked like when it came through from Mama Willing. It's called Australis, Aurora Australis, and this is the main skein. I don't have the mini with me, but I'll put the photo in. It matches my vibe, the same colour as my nails. Absolutely stunning. Purpley pinks, beautiful variegation. And for this month, I am doing a test knit for my socks, sticking with the textured sock vibe rather than the vanilla socks, which is nice. I love a vanilla sock, but it's also quite fun to do something a little bit different. And I've only just got a little bit started. These are toe-up socks, which is not my normal either. So there we go. This is the toe-up sock. I just found little needle stoppers. I really don't enjoy the rubber ones. I find they always come off. But this one is a little kind of like the toggles that you sometimes have on, the cords of your hoodies and stuff. But you just press the button, put your needles through, and then it seals it shut, and it's not super tight on these little skinny needles, but keeps it on. Beautiful pink hearts, great for my work bag. Anyway, so I'm making this. These are going to be called the Sunday slouch socks. I'll put in a photo by Rachie Knits. who's a beautiful New Zealand designer, and I've tested a couple of things for her before. And these socks are her latest work in progress, so they're beautiful. Stockinette foot. I'm not. I think it's a gusset short row heel, which will be different from me because I've never done that toe up before. And then it's like got a mock cable leg, and they're kind of like beautiful and tall and slouchy. So I'm really excited to be using this for those. So yeah, I just have to definitely complete at least one of the socks by the end of August. Hopefully I'll get both of them done, but they are full length socks, not my usual shorty length. So it might take me a bit more time. And I have so many other things on the go. But that's okay. I'll just work along at those as I feel. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving the colour. Like Mama Willing, Sarah, you are just fantastic. She's so good. I just like, we're in August, where this is the 8th colourway that's come my way this month from her sock club, and there's not been a single one that I haven't absolutely loved. They're just all so stunning. So she's a genius. That's all of the things that I've been working on. I obviously have other whips that are not getting touched. I have a beautiful big shawl, Angela Murray shawl on the needles that I haven't touched in ages. That's so beautiful. I have this Stella Quilt blanket by Laura Penrose on my needles that I haven't touched in ages. I have City Dress by Tori Yu in a beautiful blue wool cotton wool fade, which I've done to like mid torso and then paused because I wanted to go to more wintry knits. I've got that on there. That's probably going to come to Fiji because that will be a perfect project to work stockinette in the round in a wool cotton blend. I've got all of those. I've got a test knit that I did for the Cray Bear. It was a sweater. It was a slip stitch, like chevron designed sweater that I test knit for her. I don't know, months and months and months ago, sometime at the beginning of last year, I think. And I missed the test deadline. I finished it enough to take photos, but one sleeve is only to mid bicep and hasn't got the rest. Just a very strategic placement for some photos. So it looked finished, but it's not. So I have like most of a sleeve on that sweater to finish, which I just lost all motivation for because I missed the deadline. And it's turning out quite fitted rather than oversized, and so I think it's going to be quite hard for me to style, so I haven't really had the motivation to finish it. I should finish that. I'm not going to frog it because it's only half a sleeve, but it's a time-consuming stitch pattern because it's a slip stitch, and so the rows really compress up, and so it takes ages to make progress. I've had no motivation, but that's on the needles that one day I want to finish. What else? I think that's the main things, like a dress, a sleeve, a massive shawl that's only maybe a third done, and a massive blanket that's only a third done, a quarter done. Fruits that are on the go but not getting worked on, as well as all of these 2 other blankets, a massive cardigan, and socks. Do you see why I'm feeling a little bit whip overwhelmed? Anyway, I'm going to keep working at all of those. I was going to show you my spinning, but I have a very sad misadventure with my spinning wheel. I went to my spinning group on Tuesday. Such lovely ladies. I'm thoroughly enjoying having joined the local Spinners and Weavers Guild. They were trying to help me with my spinning wheel because it wasn't behaving itself that well. Anyways, my flyer fell off, which is its floor, and look what happened. My flyer is completely snapped in half. It is completely unusable. So sad. Yeah. I'm a bit heartbroken. So after all the effort that I've been going to, I mean, this fly has already been repaired twice, here and here, by my good friend Michael Walker, who's a fantastic, absolutely fantastic wood turner. He has a website. Check him out if you are interested in any kind of wood beauties created in beautiful native timbers. So he repaired it on that side. He repaired it on that side, and now it's just completely busted. So that's dumb. I can't do any spinning. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to borrow a spinning wheel from the spinning guilds. They have quite a few spare ones, so they are probably going to lend me one until I can get myself a new one, because I'm not sure that this is. It's definitely not fixable. My friend Mike would have to try and completely remanufacture a brand new one, and I'm not sure that I want to ask him to do that, considering I paid about $20 for the spinning wheel, and he's already spent so much time replacing, mending this and other parts of it for me. Anyway, I found a new one that I want to buy. It's an Ashford's, so it's actually a brand name, whereas this I think was a Crofter spinning wheel, but like I can't find very little information about it. Definitely not produced anymore. Definitely not able to just go out and purchase another one of these. And yeah, so it's Ashford, and it is secondhand. It's but brand new. They're close to $1,000. I don't have that to spend at the moment, so I'm looking at the second-hand one, which is a couple of hundred. Comes with some fibre, some spare bobbins. Just so happens that it's about 2 hours drive from me in Palmerston North, which is very close to where my best friend, Mike the woodturner's wife, lives. So she's going to hopefully pick that up for me, or it's going to get dropped at her place this weekend, and then I will try and find a day where I can drive to Palmerston North and pick up my new spinning wheel. So fingers crossed that all goes through. Obviously, I haven't seen it in person because it's not local to me. So if there's anything wrong with it, Helen will have to get me out, get me out of the deal, and I'll look for a different one. But I'm excited to have something new and something that's actually still in manufacture, so that I can get replacement parts if needed, and people are a little bit more aware of how it's supposed to work, and yeah, should be easier to get parts and advice on it if need be. But I'm quite sad that my little spinning wheel that I've been pouring my heart into getting into working order is now no longer, and I can't spin anything. And I also took my recently finished skeins of hand spun to my Knitters and Spinners Guild when I went on Tuesday, because they do a bit of a show and tell thing, and I forgot to bring them home, so they're still there. So I can't even show you those, what I have made. So that's just going to have to wait for another day. Yeah, that's my spinning misadventure. Sad news. Sad but nice, because that'll be my acquisition for next time if I manage to pick it up. And it all goes through a new spinning wheel. It's still the castle style. I really didn't want a traditional style spinning wheel because it just takes up too much space to use in my home. And so I really wanted the castle style still, so that's what I'm doing. Hopefully that all goes together, comes together and works out. That's enough talking from me. I'm getting a croaky voice. I need to drink my smoothie before it goes bad. And my sister and my brand new little niece are coming over soon, so I had better go and tidy up my kitchen. So thanks for joining me again today. It's always a pleasure to come and chat about my knitting. Sorry, my episodes have been a lot less frequent than I had hoped they would be. But feel free to comment below, like this video if you've enjoyed it. Talk to me in the comments about what you're working on, any suggestions that you have, any tips for broken spinning wheels, yeah, feel free to just engage. It would be lovely to spend a bit more time chatting to you all and getting to know you all. You can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry under the same name, Rebecca Ann Knits. So feel free to look up any information that you'd like about my projects there. I try to keep it quite well updated. And I'll see you again sometime soon. today is Thursday, so I probably won't have enough to talk to you on Monday. But hopefully the following week I might have been able to pick up. Maybe we can have a little show and tell. So yeah, all the best, and happy knitting and crafting. Stay well, look after yourselves, and I'll hopefully see you again soon. Ka kite ano. Thanks for joining me.